Secretly recorded from deep inside the bowels of a decommissioned missile silo, we bring you the man, one single man who wants to bring light to the darkness and dark to the lightness. Although he's not always right, he is always certain. So now, with security protocols in place, the protesters have been forced back behind the barricades and the blast doors are now sealed. Without further delay, let me introduce you to the host of podcast, Mr. Tim Hutner.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. You can now take your post.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual and participants. These views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the host or the show. The opinions in this broadcast are not to replace your legal, medical, or spiritual professionals. Welcome to Hutcast 8/4/2024. Today's conversations, kind of a wild one, been across the country, doing some things. Talking about Kamala, we're going to have some conversations about what the DNC should be doing at this point in time. Why did she get forefronted to the end and the beginning? And, oh man, I'll tell you what, it's kind of a weird thing. What else we're going to talk about? Oh, we're going to do whether or not, if you're out and about and you find yourself in Butte, Montana, we're going to tell you to go up to a company called Headframe Spirits. Headframe Spirits is a company that builds distillery equipment. They have their own formula. They have their own malt liquor. They do it all. So Hutcast, been across the country, checking things out, scouting some different locations for the underground bunker. Come on in. Let's have a listen. Let's have a talk. Let's discuss what's going on here in this world. We'll be right back, and stand by.
This grilling season, take your taste buds to the next level. The sauce that'll change your barbecue forever. O. Eddie's Whiskey Bourbon Sauce is going to be at the Anoka County Fair. O. Eddie's Whiskey Bourbon Sauce is all about that split second when the tender meat and delectable sauce touches your taste buds. Don't believe me? Chef Richard Cooper is bringing O. Eddie's Whiskey Bourbon Sauce to the Anoka County Fair so you can taste it and become a believer yourself. O. Eddie's Whiskey Bourbon Sauce, the sauce that's worth the wait.
Thanks for coming back. Let's have a conversation about Kamala. Yeah. How's this for kind of like a weird thing in life? Presidential race pulls out. It happened since 1968. It's been a long time. And then Kamala just automatically steps in. Now, any of you understand and listen to my show ever, you've heard some things in the past that sometimes just don't make much sense. This is not a ploy on conspiracy. This is not a whole lot of nothing other than things ain't making sense. And I'm going to point them out to you. Here's why. Biden says he's going to make this run no matter what. I'm fully capable. I'm fully, we all have seen that. We all heard the hyperbole of Sleepy Joe and sounds like Ozzy Osbourne on freaking acid. I don't know. So maybe they think that that's their good candidate. So by realizing this, the DNC says, "Oh crap, we've already had our first debate, and this guy looked like a complete moron, a buffoon, and that's the best the DNC can put forward." But here's where things get kind of wild. Let's say your name is Kamala Harris, and she, i.e. her, or it, or they, or whatever the hell she wants to call itself, does a run at the primary DNC and does absolutely horrible. I mean, she got wasted by pretty much everybody on the planet. Here it is, the 8th month, just not barely the 8th, 8/4/2024, and all of a sudden, Sleepy Joe realizes, and the DNC says, hey, we're going to totally get slaughtered if we don't do this. So who can we throw in there last minute? Kamala's your best option. Why? Because she's vice president now. She was appointed to be vice president. She was chosen to run with. Sleepy Joe brought her in on the heels of his, what have you, DNC-ish. And she's going to run this. All of a sudden, she's the pick. I don't know if you're a Democrat, a Republican, independent, a hippie, whatever you are out there, you should be paying attention to this like really big time. And here's why. She couldn't make it up to the first primaries. She couldn't debate her way past all those blahs, if you ever watched that. Personally, I was a total drag. And all of a sudden, she's the only pick? What about the other people? Now, if let's say you're a Democrat senator from some cobunk in Kentucky and you want to run at this deal. You just now, everybody but her got demoted to we'll pick who we want to. And they did this to their own party. Never mind the democratic process. Never mind the fact that you spend time running, campaigning, doing the things that you should do the right way. And then the DNC says, oh, if they secured enough votes for her to run. How about you guys? How about you guys in the left? How about you guys in the middle to left? How does that make you feel? We're just going to pick this. Because she couldn't get picked before. I don't know. It's going to be a weird one this time. The president's never pulled out of a race since 1964. We've got a female, pick her own gender salad, ethnicity salad, whatever she is. And then that's all that's left. So you're going to vote party now? You know, I don't get it. I'm not no Trump fan, but I am a different type of bird. I mean, I can see the DNC stuff. I can see the RNC stuff. I can see the independents. I can see a lot of different points. But that's the point of politics. Politics, very basic at its definition, is to understand the other's positions, find a neutral ground, come to an agreement, an understanding, a co-mutual, beneficial agreement. Come to that agreement, make it make sense. You work for the people. You work for us, government. We do not work for you. And then you want to what? Throw Kamala on there? Oh, man. I can't even begin to tell you how messed up that is. At every level. Democrats should be mad. Republicans, all they're sitting back and going, yeah, you're so busy eating our side, you're eating your own now. You're destroying your own side. And now you're going to have two parties within the party. I've already said that. If you listen to some shows in the past, I always said there's two parties in the party. And on the right side, too. But the left seems to have more of it. If you're a socialist, Nazi, crazy left-handed Democrat, you're no different than the right side socialist, Nazi, crazy Republican. People, I think we've lost their mind in this country. I don't think they had a mind to lose, some of them. But if you believe Kamala is the choice, you are part of the problem. And circumventing the complete system by doing this, knowing that she couldn't secure the vote by herself, should upset just about every Democrat on that last interview, where they had, 15 of them, 10 of them? And they were all voting for and debating, and it was kind of a thing. Yeah. How does that make you feel? How does that stand through to you? Have you stopped and think about the fact that all of a sudden, magically delicious, she's in the spot? Skipped all the steps? Missed all the votes? That ain't representation. That's indoctrination. So they indoctrined her into that spot. And if you don't stand up and put your foot down as a listening people, you get what you deserve. And you'll deserve / earns that as a president. I've studied some of her policies when she was in California. I've seen what she did when she was a prosecutor. I've seen all this stuff. And you know what? I was not impressed. All she did was a job. Go check out her voting record. Go check out what she's done while she's vice president, term 1. It just accelerates into term 2 with being the president if she wins this. I don't know. If I was a Democrat, I'd be pretty PO'd right now. Because all they're doing is screwing up the whole thing. And what about the extra 800 billion already printed ballots that say Sleepy Joe on it? Oh boy, I'll tell you. I bet that messed a lot of people up. I'm kind of a believer in the fact that, yeah, the last election seemed kind of iffy. And you don't go to bed at 2 in the morning and wake up at 4 in the morning and magically delicious, you're ahead by 50 points. It just don't happen. I don't care who you are. That's been proven. I've done that on the previous show. I'm not going to spin that up again. But it's kind of a thing. Think about it. So not only did they circumvent the system for Kamala, they circumvented the system for, again, all the people that ran, all the people that worked hard for their spots, Democrat or Republican, don't care. All the teams, all the, wow. What would you do if you were a Democrat on the other side? Would you vote for the Republican side? Or would you vote independent? Would you waste the vote? Because you're going to get the blind people out there that wear the blindfold and say, oh, I'm voting D no matter what. What do you think they're going to do? Vote D no matter what. Can they pass on that? Can they make that happen? I got to say that, yeah, I'm no Trump fan, but that's the best we could do too. I kind of like the Florida guy, DeSantis. Now that boy, he had a head on his shoulders. I don't see his politics from here as a state because we're in a different bunker location than him. But I kind of like what I heard. And kind of like Trump when he says he does it, it gets handled. There's no maybe, there's no sort of, there's no kind of. When DeSantis put his mind to it, hammer down. Look out, it's happening. You don't like it? Too bad, get out of the way. Yeah, that's what Trump does. That's why people don't like Trump. He says what he does and does what he says. And he says it with some weird verbiage that goes along with it, going, dude, you just can't shut up long enough. But I have noticed in this election, ye old Trump, John J., he's saying a lot less crazy things. A lot less crazy things. When he was, you can tell when he's running. And when he's ahead in the polls, he follows protocol by tried and true methods. And, he stays on the rails and he's just one of those guys. But then when he feels like he's getting shortchanged, listen to his tone, his demeanor of stuff. He starts going rogue. And then the playbook gets thrown out the window and he starts throwing things out there that, he's scared to lose again. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I've heard enough of this stuff to go, this needs to be revamped. All of it. And we need to have an independent party or a write-in. Who's the biggest write-in that you could put in there and waste this vote? I know here in Minneapolis, our undisclosed location bunker, we have a District 5 going on. Ilhan Omar, she's up again. Really? Can we not get rid of that thing, that blight? She'll never make president. She was never born here, so she can't pass that amendment. So what's she going to do? Stir it up for us in the meantime? Waltz is going to be the potential for Kamala? Vice president? What do you think's going to happen then? So Peggy Flanagan's going to take over until they have a special election? I mean, they're right in the middle of this 2-year thing. And how are they going to do that with Flanagan? Another appointed governor that wasn't voted in? So now we've got appointed people running stuff for us. Now, as an appointed person myself, I understand the oath of office. You take an oath. I don't care what you've done it in. I don't care if you're at the city level, the county, state, federal. When you take that oath of office, that's a piece of you because you raised your right hand and you made an oath that if you sworn that oath to a God of yours, to an office of yours, to who you are, you swear to that. That has nothing to do with party. That has nothing to do with who voted you. That has nothing to do with nothing. But you raised that right hand and you said, I will do this. That's a character test. That's a whole lot of character test. And you will not help every cause, every piece, you won't be liked by everybody. And if you were liked by everybody, you're probably doing something wrong because that just isn't how things work in the world. Yeah, I've had time to think about some of this and I've had some time off and I've enjoyed some time with some family and just to get away time. And I'll tell you what, all over this country, there's a whole lot of guys feeling the same way. People, parts, old people, I don't care what it is. They're just like, really? So how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it down deep? I don't know. It's kind of a real thing. Let's see what else we did. We did some traveling. And let's see, I'm going to look up my last location, which was a heck of a 2A group. Now this is like a small mom and pop shop, military, veteran owned. Everybody brings in their 2A stuff. Everybody hangs it on the wall. You have this part of culture of America. And with that, it's a company called Yankee Doodle Cafe. It's a cafe in, well, I suppose it would be downtown Alpine, Wyoming. It's not too far from the gun shop in which we've purchased some special 2A equipment. And if you get a chance to get in there and look around, first thing you'll see on the door coming in would be a HUDcast. And they were so glad to have someone who was pro 2A, pro America, to just have a little sticker there. If you see the sticker, tell them that you heard it on HUDcast when you're in Wyoming. Alpine, Wyoming. It's off 140 and US 89. And these guys, I tell you what, it was such a pleasure. The exact address is 20 US 89A, Alpine, Wyoming. 83128 is their zip code. Go in there and tell them HUDcast sent you and say, hey, I want to look around. Check out their walls, check out their stuff. I mean, it's just hey, even if you're a Democrat, you should go in there and see what the other side does once in a while. Even if you're a Democrat that loves guns or hates guns or whatever it is you do, it was a really decent cafe to have fun and just to sit back and say, hey, thanks for being who you are. Imagine if we were all the same, how boring that would be. That'd be like a society planned and set up and, yeah, not too blue in that type of the country. And then further down the street from the Yankee Doodles Cafe, you have a thing called Wyoming Gunfighter Company. Now, many of you know, if you've been following the show, I'm a very big 2A type of guy. And I was in there on a pseudo business trip. I got some inventory for resale. And these guys, they have a clean little shop. It's great. They were open on a Sunday, which was kind of weird, but hey, why not? Different state, different thing. These guys handled the issue. They sold me some gear, and I'll tell you what a great shop to stop and be at. And from that, if you were to grab some equipment and just go out and do some target shooting, there's plenty of places around there because there's a lot of BLM land. All I can say is I've seen people out in the back channels in the woods, and don't be a pig. Pick your stuff up. They left their targets out there. They left their pop cans, part of their cooler. Really, guys? Come on. Don't be that pig-ass guy that sits and throws their stuff down there and expects someone else to clean it up. Boxes of ammo and blah, blah, blah. Jesus. This is our country. You're in BLM land. Be a little conscious of the next guy who wants to be there. Maybe if it's a Dem or not or whatever, clean your stuff up. That's my only gripe about that. It was a great place to be. Alpine has got one heck of an area. Got some great trails, ATVs, UTVs, you name it, XUVs. It fits on a trail. There's a lot of stuff going on in this part of the woods. Never been there before. Been there before all, and it was in the drive-in in the canyon. Wow. Snake River, and then to the side, on the northwest side of the lake and river and all that. And if you remember back in your history, you know about Snake River. Ring a bell? Evel Knievel, jump in the Snake River Canyon. I think it's the same Snake River. I could be wrong. I do believe that was an Evel Knievel thing. Yeah. Kind of neat. Okay, what else? So we got our 2A covered. We've got our Yankee Doodle Cafe covered. We've got Biden pulls out of the race. What do we have for time here? Oh, 18 minutes. Tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll have some more discussion about some across the country stuff. A great trip. I had a lot of miles, a lot of things. So stand by. Right back.
Buying a gun is no ordinary purchase. Whether you're a hunter, competitive shooter, or self-defense is your priority, there are many kinds of guns and many kinds of training programs. You use your brain all the time. You will rarely need to use your gun. Before you find yourself in a situation where you need to make a critical decision, make sure your training is the best you can get. It could be the difference between life and death, or freedom or detention. For the best quality training, check out permittocarry.us. If you live in Minnesota or Wisconsin or even Florida, give Gene German a call, 612-388-2403. That's Permit to Carry US. Or call Gene German at 612-388-2403.
Okay, thanks for coming back. All right, the second half of my show today is about something that you don't normally get to see. You don't get to normally go into the back room, the adapting, the making, the fabricating of a still. So during our sabbatical through the great country of ours, we ran across this place called Headframe Spirits. Headframe Spirits is based out of Butte, Montana. We've had a special invite to go check it out at the bar itself, the Spirits Center, where they have a small still and they craft their wonderful whiskey and malt liquors and whatever they, there was so much to learn. There was so much to learn. But I'll tell you what I can tell you is that it's a piece of America. Now Butte, Montana is a mining town. They have a lot of things. If you do your history, you'll see what Butte really was. And they've had this mine in their city for decades. Centuries, perhaps. And back in the 1800s, this thing was kind of like a thing. That's what they did, and that was the town. So do your homework on Butte, Montana, and then come on out to a place called Headframe Spirits. Headframe Spirits is literally 21st South Montana Street in Butte, Montana, which is like old town. They have this wonderful moniker on the front of the building. The bar is just as cool as snot, I'm telling you. It's cool. They can make you a 6-pack of custom mixed drinks that will just knock your socks off. I tell you what, I tried a couple of them, and I was totally jazzed up. The wife, she indulged a little more than I. I was the one who was driving, of course, so I wanted to stay on the road. And the barkeeps did this wonderful, we didn't know what we were ordering. You do what the locals do. You order what the locals order. And then she says, well, I'll tell you what. This is the barkeep. Let me do something special. Because we had special clearances that day. Sat down and she made up these drinks that I can't even remember to pronounce. Let them guide you. Let them guide you on a palette of awesomeness. And when you get done, you tell them Hudcast sent you over there. But then, it don't end there. We have a special tour. A special tour up to the actual Headframe distillery itself. Okay, now this is a taken over old mining town. So we drove up this 7.5% grade. We're at the top of this hill, and we're looking at going, no, I don't see a distillery or a manufacturing company anywhere other than I see these big, huge, cabled elevator systems that are still sitting there from like way back. And the owner came to the front door of our vehicle and says, hey, welcome. Well, again, we had some special clearances, and this is where the story gets really interesting. You figure, hey, good old America, we got our P's and Q's in line, and but that's not even close to what happened today. Everybody wants to buy their foreign car and run it to a foreign thing, and then they can't figure out why they can't foreign this and foreign that. Well, this stuff's made right here in the U.S. of A. Right here in Montana. And inside this building is like you'll never see ever unless you've been invited to this particular company. We start out in the main room. This room is all set up with a bar, a tasting room. It's all beautiful oak. It's all set up. There's all kinds of bottles. Stuff, given the fact that I'm not a drinker. I just didn't acquire the taste. I'm not an anti-drinker, but hey, if someone likes to drink, then hey, whatever. This is America. Drink what you want. But to be invited was such a treat and honor to go through this company and to see the absolute coolness of what's going on. Once you exit the tasting room, we go in this corridor, this long hallway to another building. And he opens this building up, and right on the show floor, from the show floor to this awesome, I can't even describe it. It's an entryway to the fabrication room. The fabrication room is like a sunken living room. It has this pit area of fabricating and Ellis equipment and stainless steel, and there's where the fun starts. For me, I'm a kind of a fabrication type of guy, and here we are. We start out from a tasting room into this place, and you see racks and racks of 304, 316 pipe flanges. I mean, they're literally building the still right there. And it was such an honor to get walking through everything. And you see this pit of equipment, tools, pieces, all kinds of stuff. I mean, stuff that you don't normally. I mean, it's like a fab shop. I mean, but for beer, it's a fab shop to build beer fab shop. And these guys are putting one together, and you know, of course, I'm asking all these questions about assembly and pieces and parts, and my tour group that was with is like probably bored at this point in time. But then we got to go and see this equipment, this stack. I understand why it's a pit, because these things are tall. The real steels are tall. I mean, they're like maybe two plus stories. They have 3 different models. They manufacture this whole doohickey. Again, this is an online thing. You can look it up too. And it's a head frame, Butte, Montana. I mean, you can't miss it. They got a wonderful commercial. And as we're looking at these pipe flanges, and we're looking at the stainless and the copper wrappings and all the, you know, he's explained to me all his PLCs are built on site. They program their own assembly. They program their own still equipment and sensors and arrays, and any part of the still is all pretty much kind of right there. So there was about 20, 30 minutes worth of questions that I had personally on this just cool equipment. So if you guys are out looking for a still, I haven't been to many of them. This is like my first one, and this guy just rocks it. Headframe just made this work. They had everything was all lined up. It was a clean, decent shop. They had good equipment. And then I'll explain to where we go from there. Now, this place is huge. This is huge place. I mean, you can probably expect to figure that because it was an old mining town, and they did their own. This thing had its own railroad spur at one time. And for you, those that don't know about a spur, it is basically a set of tracks that come into your business, go through your business, and exit your business back to the main track. A spur is part of the train. Because they're loading car after car after car, I suppose, with the coal, or whatever they were mining back then. I believe the spur no longer exists, but, you know, it's such a huge place that it wouldn't surprise me if it did. We're at the main pace, and we're looking at this pit. We're looking at room to room to room. They're showing me the bottling center. They're showing me the label center. I mean, wow. I mean, it's incredible the amount of size and equipment. And then we go into another room. I thought, how much more could you be than this? How much more cooler can you be? Until we got into one of the storage rooms. He opens up this big 24-foot door and flips the lights on, and all you see for 100 yards, barrels of this stuff. Pieces, equipment, and parts, and it's basically just a cool down point where once it leaves the mechanisms for when they're made and they bottle and they move, they got to put them into a secondary tank that cools. And I mean, it's just a process. It's a process that bewilders my mind. I didn't have to be bewildered about this location where they had 8-10 barrels high. Easy 10. Maybe even 15. I don't even count. It was so overwhelming to see all these barrels and stacks and stacks and rooms. And well, I'll tell you what, that's a whole lot of whatever's in those barrels. Malt liquors, all kinds of stuff. And each one's labeled, each one's barcoded. I mean, they have it. This is down to a science, people. It is an absolute science. They've got this 6 ways wired from Sunday. It is an organization. It's pretty cool. I would recommend, if you ever had a chance, call this company or a company that does manufacturing of distillery equipment and distilleries, filling, bottling, making. Go visit it. I've always wanted to do the Tennessee one, which was Jack Daniels. Never got down that way, but once we do, it's pretty much one of those, I'm going to go see it just to compare it to what I saw over here. Because I can only imagine that these guys are like top of their game. So if you do get a chance and you get invited, and you can go to Headframe in Butte, Montana, America, first of all, go to the bar, have a Supreme type of system. I don't know, they call it on like a growler, but not a growler. Again, I'm not a drinker, so I can't even speak the language right. And this stuff is like, you don't even think it's alcohol. It's just like a Tahitian treat, but on steroids. And try some. Just go have some, because it's just incredible. And then find out if you can get into the actual distillery manufacturing process, or plant, and or distillery itself, and just check it out. It's so incredible. I mean, I could do a show just with them about how cool this is, and the stuff that they do. Barrels and barrels, and wow. So I'm perplexed on, it's so big, it's so high tech, and they're fabbing and designing and making and doing. And I did hear that they're possibly going to take over another building from the mine. If that opens up, I wonder what they're going to do with it. He had told me, but I forgot already, and that'd be a question that would be pretty cool, because, you know, that's history. That's American history right there. Maybe we'll try not to cancel that, huh? Let's not cancel this history, because it's worth listening to. It's worth paying attention to. So again, people, if you're in Butte, Montana, and you get a chance to kick back and just enjoy the scenery and check out the local stuff, see if you can get on that ticket. See if they have this at Headframe. It's quite a process, and the owner, he's got it. He's got everything wired, and he's intact, and he's working it, and he's doing it, and it's just like, it's a well-oiled machine. So I did want to bring that across to you, because that was one of the things we found in Montana. And you should really, like I said, pay attention to how things are done here in the U.S. I think if there was the episode, what was that show? The Mailman from Made America. Is it Made America? That would be a really good show for these guys, because this is like cradle to grave. I mean, it's you bring in the base product, you bring in the malt. They're doing it. Incredible. Not that I've toured very many of these, but I mean, this guy was spot on. He did his stuff, and he knew his game. There was no in between, and it was 100% engagement. Yeah, can't really say enough about that, because it's just that cool. And it's, you know, it's all about cool. It's just, the tasting room alone was just this one area that was like, wow. And they got tons of grains, they got barrels, they got But the distillery itself is quite a thing, because you don't even, until you actually seen one and how they're built, and the temperatures and pressures, and I mean, that's all science. That's all science. And I got to see it firsthand and right up and close, and stuff you can't go bad on. I mean, you can't go wrong by doing it. You just got to go do it. And it looks old world. I mean, it looks new world. It's got, again, computer interfaces. I know I'm repeating myself, but hey, you know, it's quite a gig. I do believe they have 3 models. Like, they got the 1000, 5000, and a DM 5000. And I don't quite know the difference, but I think it's capacity. And I think one of them's the Risky Rocket 1000. Yeah, that's what it is. And here it is. Oh, on their website, Whiskey Rocket 5000, and the Big Barbet. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible stuff. So if you do find yourself in that part of the woods, and you say, hey, what am I going to do tonight in Butte, Montana? Plug into these guys. Go pay a visit. From you guys overseas, if you ever have a distillery or a distillery situation, send me an email or a message. Message me on Facebook and say, you know, there's another place you could go see. And yeah, everybody knows their backyard. And this is one of those things that it was kind of my backyard that I should have paid attention to. And I'm glad I did, because I learned a lot. Awesome situation. What a great gig. And it was pretty spirited, by the way. Those spirits are smooth and got a bite. So it's kind of a smooth bite. All right, what time is it here? All right, we are 16 minutes into the second segment. I don't know how much more I can add. There's some stuff coming up politically that's going to be a kind of a thing. I've been just waiting for this chaff to fall from the Camilla thing on my first segment. I don't know where you guys are on that, but hey, sometimes we're going to have to see where this lands. And right now we're going to see where this lands, because I don't even know. This is so weird. This is a weird election cycle. What else? Let's see here. Got the Camilla. We got the Trump. We've got the Wyoming. I don't think I want to engage the Trump shot. I don't know how you would engage that. the conspiracy nuts and liners saying, "Oh, he didn't get shot. It was from a piece of glass." And I did post on the site, on the Hutcast Facebook site. I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a gun pointed at you, whether it's a sniper, whether it's and if you know about it, you really are going to have a different outlook on life. Now, if you've engaged any of this hyperbole crap, whether you get shot with the gun, with the bullet, with flying glass, with debris from what you shot or missed or whatever it is, you're never going to forget it. And of course, Trump being the person he is, he's going to exploit that. And he's going to say, "Hey, America," just like he would. He exploited it. I mean, he kind of earned it. I mean, he had to get shot to do it. I don't know if I'd want to get shot to exploit it, but you guys who are saying conspiracy theorist, kind of a snothead nosed punk kid who, I don't know if he could shoot or not. They haven't released the weapon type. There's a lot that hasn't happened yet. So I'm kind of holding my P's and Q's. Wanted to jump on and do an episode just about that and what really long range is, and how 130 yards is literally nothing for most rifles, especially when you're in the prone position on a 16-degree roof. A clear shot. Yeah. You see what I'm making sense? And the kid was a kind of a goofball. So if you look up his history, he's, again, the gun did not shoot Trump. The shooter shot Trump. Whether it's Trump or Joe or any president, you took an assassin's point. Now, and then, they knew about it. So how do you undo that? So focus, people. There's some times that you got to look back and go, things ain't making any sense here for any party. And I never condone a fact where you're going to take a president out by sniper. And this kid was no sniper. Because if that was a professional shot, Trump wouldn't be live right now. It just don't work that way. But yeah, the blood thing, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah, that's what happened for him. So now he's got some points, and all the people who are up in arms about it, you got to kind of find it funny that the people who wanted to get rid of the guns used the gun to get rid of the president, so they didn't have to get rid of. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh, we should not have guns. And what did they do? They used the gun. Yeah, I don't think so. That's kind of a double standard. Good thing he had a gun. Again, we don't know what it is. But at 130 yards, you don't miss. I mean, you don't miss. We set our guns in at 130 yards. Basically 200 yards. But we're shooting 1,300, 1,600 yards. And we're pretty effective in a medium wind. So, yeah. That was just some snot-nosed kid doing stupid shit. But anyway, didn't want to go sidetracked. I'll do an episode later in life on that. But I need some more information before I start spewing. Because I can tell you the shoot side of that and the shooter side of that. And how much it just doesn't make any sense. Especially with Secret Service there. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is going to be our wrap. I got plenty of minutes into this. And again, reach out on Facebook. Visit that distillery, the Distilleries manufacturer, the head frame in Butte, Montana. Look them up. Be in the neighborhood. Check them out. Go have the drink from the barmaid. Tell them Hutcast sent you. Look for the stickers. I'm sure there's one or two around there that say Hutcast. And have a really good rest of your Sunday, because it's been a crazy, crazy month. All right. Be well, people. Thank you for listening, and keep those emails coming.
And that's a wrap for Hutcast. Hutcast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for Hutcast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.